Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to continue to have a look at the latest on the heat wave that we do have gripping the British Isles at the moment. Quite a few areas have seen 30 degrees plus yesterday and today. There's going to be a brief cool down over the next 2 days or so, with temperatures back towards the mid-20s perhaps, so still very warm but nothing exceptional. Before Friday, Saturday things start to ramp up again, back towards the high 20s, low 30s for some. For Sunday, Monday and Tuesday we could be seeing exceptionally high temperatures, especially on that Monday and Tuesday. We have an amber extreme heat warning in force for Sunday, and today it has been extended into Monday and most likely will be extended into Tuesday tomorrow when it gets into the 7-day time frame of the Met Office warnings. I do now think, it's my opinion of course, from what I've seen, what I've observed from the models, that I do think our all-time temperature record will be threatened. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to fall, because we do have deviations that we cannot forecast. That's like cloud amounts, timings of the exact air masses. The models can always be a degree or so out. But I do think the high temperature come Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, at some point, somewhere in the UK, will get towards that 38 or 39 degree point. Remember, our all-time temperature record is 38.7 degrees in Cambridge back in 2019. And I do think it will be threatened, i.e. we will get into those 38s to 39s. And I do think now there is a reasonable chance we do break it, and still there is a small but not irrelevant chance, there is a sort of a 10, 20, 30% chance we do get to that, towards that elusive 40 degrees. But that does not look like it will be widespread. The models have backtracked from that widespread 40, but it could be locally towards that 40 degree mark. And we'll just have a look at what the models are showing today. Just remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well. The link's in the description. Also do check out the channel membership, that link is in the description below as well. Now have a look at the live radar, and there's been very little activity on the live radar over the last few days. We have skipped through it quite quickly, but today we do have precipitation moving in, and this is with the associated cold front, which is bringing slightly cooler conditions for many areas over the next couple of days. Now, it does look like there's a lot of precipitation with this, some moderate to heavy rain, but the issue we have is this is quite a weak weather front. A lot of this precipitation is falling from quite high in the atmosphere, and towards the surface we have very hot, dry air. So a lot of this precipitation is actually evaporating before it reaches the surface, and what this is doing in some areas is increasing the humidity and actually making it feel more oppressive. So today, some areas are a degree or so lower than yesterday in terms of their peak temperatures, but it feels worse just because of the humidity. But once the weather front completely moves through, because it's lingering across the Midlands at the moment, once it completely moves through, all areas will be a little bit more comfortable, with those overnight temperatures dropping from the high teens, sort of 19, 20 degrees that we've seen in London over the last couple of days, back towards maybe 14, 15 degrees. Much better for sleeping. Still warm, but better, and daytime temperatures more around that 25 to 27 degree range, and widely sort of 23 to 25. So very warm, but much more manageable. Some are still seeing some precipitation within this heavier pulses. There is still precipitation reaching the surface, so some areas getting a little sprinkling of rain, but nothing substantial at all. You'll be able to see the temperature divide because of that weather front. You can see through sort of southern and eastern portions, it's still very hot. You can see temperature is being brought down within some of these heavier showers, but you can see there is a lot more warmth being shown here, considering the precipitation we are seeing. Yes, across maybe the East Anglia into East Midlands, a few of these showers are cooling the air down by a few degrees, but mostly it is still high 20s, low 30s, and again, it's difficult to say how reliable this is, because again, these are real clear-cut differences, and it probably isn't exactly like this in reality. But again, these are radar estimates from these temperatures, not observations, of course. But observation temperatures that I have seen from Met Office are high temperatures reaching around 30 to 31 degrees today, quite widely through southern and eastern England. Cooler further north and westwards, back towards the mid-20s, and it will be dropping. And you can see behind the weather front, it's still very warm towards Aberdeenshire, still getting warm temperatures, getting towards the mid-20s. Similar in Newcastle, but generally it is cooling down back towards the mid-20s. So it's not a complete cool down, but it is much cooler in terms of maybe 3 to 5 degrees, quite widely cooler than how it has been. So if you've seen 30, 32 degrees over the last couple of days, like many areas in central, southern and eastern England, it will be dropping down more towards sort of 25 to 27 degrees. That would be more inclined to what we're going to be seeing over the next couple of days. So, if we do first, before we have a look at those temperatures over the next 5 days on the UKMO Operational Run, just briefly have a look at the extreme heat warning. If you haven't seen this yesterday, it was issued for Sunday and has been issued into Monday as well now, and that's just simply because the Met Office warnings only cover a 7-day time frame. So Monday wasn't in the timeline that they issue warnings yesterday, but it now is, so we do have an amber warning from midnight on Saturday night until midnight on Friday. Exceptionally high temperatures are possible during Sunday and Monday and could lead to widespread impacts on people and infrastructure. Now, I went through all of this yesterday. So if you want to have a little bit more, delve deeper into this, do check out yesterday's video where I spent a good few minutes explaining this, explaining why the impact matrix is how it is, and where we could perhaps see a red warning put in force for this. And we'll be having a look at that if that is issued. I doubt it will be issued though, perhaps until maybe Friday or Saturday. As I said, the peak temperatures look likely on Monday and Tuesday. They're not going to issue a red warning more than 3 days ahead, I don't think, just simply because once the red warning is issued, you can't backtrack. You cannot say it's not going to be that high 30s anymore. And at 3 or 4 day lead time, there is still the possibility of slight deviations. And of course, red warnings are only issued for danger to life, and I don't think they can say and bring that certainty up perhaps until as late as probably Saturday or maybe even Sunday. So we'll just have to keep an eye on what happens with that. Now, if you do have a look at those temperatures and have a look at the precipitation as well, now you can see that weather front spreading through at the moment, just bringing patchy rains. You can see the UK Met Office Run not predicting any precipitation really from this, so a bit more in reality, but as I said, most of it is staying in the atmosphere and evaporating. As we head into tomorrow, there is a bit of precipitation across northern Scotland, a bit of showers here or there. It's slightly more unsettled, but nothing too substantial, just a few moderate to light showers. As we head into Thursday, because we have more of an Atlantic influence, we're going to see more showers through Thursday afternoon through northern areas into Scotland as well. And through Friday early hours, there could be a bit of a weather front moving in. So up in Scotland, it could be a bit of precipitation there. It does look like it's generally moderate to light rain, but still could be some decent water there for some areas that are getting really quite parched now and get really dry. And as we head through Friday into Saturday, you can see it turning much drier, and that precipitation is spreading further northwards. It's getting edging northwards as high pressure starts to build back, and those temperatures will start to rise on Saturday before they start to peak through Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. But unfortunately, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday temperatures are not on the current runs within the 5-day time frame. It's still that 5 to 7 day time frame at this stage, so it still is a little bit of uncertainty, but the uncertainty is high enough that, as I said, I do think we will get towards in around that all-time temperature record, if not break it. Now, if you have to go to max temperatures, you can see today we got temperatures up towards 28 degrees, 29 degrees. So we actually saw temperatures slightly higher than this in reality. Add a couple degrees onto this, and that's why I always have to have a little bit of a caveat when we have a look at these models, because they can underdo temperatures. They rarely overdo temperatures when it comes to hot scenarios. They rarely say it's going to be 35 and it only reaches 32, 33 at least a day out. They can a few days out, but generally when it's sort of the run on the day of on that morning, they rarely overdo the temperatures unless we have sort of thunderstorms around or stuff like that can really substantially change and are difficult to predict. But today the temperatures are slightly higher than this is showing. We saw temperatures get towards 30, 31 degrees and more widely 27 to 29. Now tomorrow there's going to be a cool down. It's still going to be pretty warm overnight in the far southeast, but luckily Wednesday night is going to be a little bit more manageable. You can see tomorrow still may peak in 30 degrees around the far southeast, but more widely towards the mid-20s, so less oppressive. And overnight into Thursday, you can see those temperatures are dropping more widely, back towards the mid-teens, maybe central London staying around 16, 17, 18 degrees, but widely towards the mid to low teens, so much more manageable for many. And Thursday afternoon, widely 20 to 25 degrees, and perhaps slightly higher than that, 26, 27, 28 degrees in the far south. So as I said, it still could remain really warm in the far south, but the majority of the British Isles is going to cool down quite a bit. And even the south is going to cool down. It's just that the south over the last few days has been around the low 30s, so the cool down is only really to 26, 27 degrees. So it is still a drop, but it's not going to feel all too cool come Wednesday, Thursday. And by Friday, there's the potential for it to start to ramp up a little bit more. We can see we have lost those peaks of 27, 28 degrees, but we're seeing more widely 25, 26. So yeah, interesting seeing there why it's not as much of a bullseye in central southern, but more widely very warm. So for most, it is starting to ramp up again, 25, 26, and locally very likely to see 27, 28. Now, as we head into Saturday afternoon, you can see those temperatures slightly higher, 26, 27, maybe 28, 29, 30 degrees is possible in a few spots, and it's likely to rise even higher for Sunday, maybe 31, 32 through Sunday, for mid to high 30s is possible through Monday and Tuesday. So very, very warm indeed. And you can see the upper air temperatures are rising. You see by Saturday afternoon, it's around 10, 11, 12 degrees. You can see to our southwest, the 20 degree isotherm is moving in, and it's starting to encroach on the far southwest, turning incredibly hot through Sunday and Monday, as I said. Now, if we do have a look at the mid to longer range models, we'll have a look at the GFS, GM and ECMWF, see what they're showing today. There is quite a bit of variability within the models today, all showing incredibly hot air mass moving in, but it's the timing of the incredibly hot air mass which is going to decide whether it's just mid 30s, maybe touching on 37, 38, or widely high 30s, maybe touching on 39, 40 degrees. And you can see high pressure sort of slipping away to our south, bit of an Atlantic flow coming in briefly before high pressure builds in for the Saturday afternoon, before we start to see those winds move out to a southerly with that high pressure spreading eastwards, turning very, very hot. Now, one thing that we haven't touched on, and I don't think anyone's really touched on, because we've been concentrating on the extreme heat, is what's going to happen with the breakdown, because this heat is going to break down. It's not going to last. There's no way we can see this extreme air mass last more than a couple days. And at the moment, we think it's going to last through Sunday evening through to Tuesday evening, so a couple days. And what we haven't concentrated on is the breakdown, as I said. Are we going to see major thunderstorms from this? Now, I'm not going to concentrate on today, but over the next couple of days, one of the days, I'm going to primarily concentrate on the possibility of extreme thunderstorms. I have kept an eye on it, and it does look like we do have cape around. There is going to be precipitation, so the recipe and the ingredients are there, and we'll have a look at the various models later this week. So if you're interested in seeing some big thunderstorms perhaps in around a week's time, we'll have a look at that later this week. Probably on Friday I'll put a video out having a look at that. So do stay tuned for that, because we are really banging on about this heat wave quite a lot. And I know probably some people are looking forward to the end of it and potentially some thundery weather. So you can see this low pressure spinning up from the south back in the Bay of Biscay, and that could bring some intense thunderstorms as it spreads through. Beyond that, we do have high pressure building back in with another sort of southerly flow, so it could turn warm again in around 10 days time. But we do generally have an Atlantic flow from this GFS run, turning things more unsettled and cooler. Now, if we do run it back and have a look at those upper air temperatures, we'll zoom into the United Kingdom. Look, just have a look at them exactly. You can see through Sunday afternoon, if we do put it up to the 3-hour intervals, you can see the upper air temperatures are peaking around 15 degrees at 850 HPA, which is generally around low 30s. As we head through to Monday afternoon, you see those temperatures, upper air temperatures are peaking around 18, 19, 20 degrees at 850 HPA. That's getting towards the mid-30s. And by Tuesday, those temperatures, upper air temperatures, are peaking around 20, maybe 21, 22. And that's where we could possibly see high 30s towards that 40 degree point. But it's big uncertainty, because you can see there is massive temperature contrast. It's how long do we hold on to this hot air mass, and when did the temperature peak at 850 HPA? Whether it's overnight or if it's in the afternoon. If it's overnight, we most likely won't see that temperatures get towards 39, 40 degrees, more likely 36, 37, 38. But if they peak in the afternoon, that's when we could see extremely high temperatures. And of course, if you are interested in the thunderstorms, you can see that hot air getting swept away suddenly and much cooler air coming in with a low pressure system, and that will be associated with big thunderstorms. And just a bit of a teaser, have a look at that Cape values, extreme Cape values there for some as that low pressure moves in, and you can see across Europe as well, extreme Cape values in around 8, 9, 10 days time that could produce big thunderstorms, but we'll have to keep an eye on that near the time. Now if you do have a look at the 2 meter temperatures, we'll just have a look from Sunday onwards where the UK Met Office run doesn't cover it. So you can see Sunday widely 31, 32 degrees, and again these models at this range are going to outdo it, or underdo it, sorry, by 1 or 2 degrees. So most likely 33, 34 degrees. Remember, in a couple of days time we'll probably have to start excluding some of these mid to longer range runs because they will get more unreliable, and we should concentrate really on the short range models that are more accurate with this. So probably the last couple of days we'll have a look at these GFS runs, and you see 31, 32 degrees on Sunday the 17th. We did think that was going to be the peak of the temperatures a couple of days ago, but the peak is likely to be on Monday or Tuesday now, and you can see those temperatures on Sunday are being exceeded widely by midday on Monday, with still a few hours of warming to go. So widely 32, 33 degrees, and again they're underdone, and by 3 p.m. you see widely 34, 35 degrees. Most likely those temperatures will peak around that 37, 38 degree mark, potentially reaching our all-time temperature record. Now as we head through to Tuesday, those upper air temperatures actually do get slightly higher, and you can see we're peaking around the 37, maybe the 38, 39, or even touching on the 40 degree mark. So GFS definitely is bullish here, and is what I think the most likely scenario is mid to high 30s, peaking around 38, 39, or 40 degrees. And you can see the massive contrast through to Wednesday afternoon, temperatures towards the mid-teens for some, maybe low 20s in the far southeast, as heavy thunderstorms, big precipitation, and much cooler air spreads in. Now if we have a look at the GEM, see how that does compare. Again, high pressure moves to our east over the next couple of days. We put up a southerly wind, incredibly hot air mass, and beyond that low pressure runs in with unsettled thundery conditions. But at the end of the run we start to put high pressure back in, reasonably warm air mass, so could bring temperatures back into the mid to high 20s, but nothing anywhere near exceptional is what we're going to be seeing over the next week or so. Now if we run it back and have a look at the United Kingdom look at the 3-hour intervals, you can see as we head through to Sunday we start to see the very warm air arrive once again, incredibly hot through Sunday afternoon, still getting towards that 18, 20 degree isotherms, so quite warm here, very hot on the Sunday, and through into Monday, incredibly hot upper air temperatures, widely above 20 degrees at 850 HPA through Monday afternoon, getting towards 23 degrees. That would be exceptionally hot at the surface. So I'll look at those 2 meter temperatures in a minute. But as we head towards Tuesday, it's getting swept away from the east. Swept away from the west, hanging on the east, still 23 degrees at 850 HPA. Now, if we do run it back and have a look at those 2 meter temperatures, be interesting to see what they're showing. You see widely 28, 29 degrees. I think that's underdoing it a little bit, considering those upper air masses. That's only really 10 degrees added on to those upper air conditions. So I think the GM run is underdoing it a bit. And you have a look at the Monday afternoon temperatures, going towards 35, 36 degrees. I think it would be hotter than that with those upper air, associated upper air conditions. I think these upper air conditions are hotter than the GFS, and the GFS was going for the same temperatures. So I think possibly 38, 39 or 40 degrees is very likely with this GEM run for the peak temperatures, but again widely 36, 37. You have to remember that when I say the sort of the headline figure, that is only locally. We're more widely going to be seeing temperatures a degree or two cooler than that. That is one thing I think some people do forget sometimes. When we say it could reach 40 degrees, we don't always mean it's going to reach 40 degrees for everywhere. Most likely it will be 35 degrees for most areas, maybe 36, 37, 38, and peak around 39, 40. So these are the widespread temperatures. We could peak a couple of degrees higher than this, and most likely will be higher than this, just because it is a low resolution mid-range model. As we head through to Tuesday, again getting towards the mid to high 30s, and by midday we're 36 degrees, most likely will peak around 37, 38, 39 or 40 degrees. So this GEM run would definitely be at, or if not breaking, our all-time temperature record. I'm pretty much guaranteed of that from this GEM run. Incredibly hot today. Now if we do finish by having a look at the ECMWF, again high pressure spreading out to our east, a southerly wind coming in, incredibly hot air mass, and beyond that low pressure running in, big thundery weather before we do see high pressure build back in, but it's not particularly stable high pressure, low pressure either side. A bit of an omega block there perhaps, but only really it would be a mega block if it does sort of maintain its positioning. And you can see the air masses are not too warm, so yeah, it'd be dry, it'd be pleasant, but nothing as hot as now. If we do run it back and have a look at the conditions at the United Kingdom, look, you can see Sunday afternoon, pretty warm, upper air temperatures not quite as high as the GFS and GEM, so Sunday less likely to be as hot. And as we head through to Monday, if we ever put it the 3-hour intervals, you'll see Monday afternoon widely around that 19-20 degree isotherm getting in, so widely mid-30s. And by Tuesday afternoon, we're seeing the very hottest air get swept away by the peak hours of the afternoon. This is why I say there's a bit of a caveat, because if this was 12 hours delayed, or even 9 hours delayed, this would be reaching high 30s, maybe 40 degrees. But this hot air is getting swept away by around midday on Tuesday, so we're unlikely to reach those tip-top temperatures. So do run it back and have a look at what those top temperatures are showing. You can see through Sunday afternoon, widely high 20s, probably low 30s, through to Monday afternoon. Again, we're missing the 3 p.m. value, but it most likely would be mid-30s, 35, 36 degrees. And as we head towards Tuesday, you can see peaking around 33 degrees in the far east, but 24 degrees further westwards, and that's because that cooler air is sweeping away, and by 6 p.m. you can see all areas back towards the mid-20s. So there's a caveat we have to look at, as how quickly does this hot air get swept away. At this stage, we'll just have to see. Now, if we finish by having a look at the ensembles, we'll briefly run through these, as they are pretty much all converging on the same scenario, around 20 degrees at 850 HPA come next week. The GFS ensembles are still a little bit uncertain with it, so we're seeing a lot more spread from them, but the ECMWF ensembles are a lot more sure of it, and we do see a lot of fluctuation from the GFS, so I think that's just a little bit of a blip within them, but you can see most of them are around that 20 degree mark at 850 HPA, but dropping around maybe slightly above average in the longer term. Precipitation returning, but no massive signal of any hugely dry weather or hugely unsettled weather in the longer term. And of course, straight after this very hot air mass, things turning slightly more unsettled, most likely will be thundery. Now, we're not even going to have a look at the 2 meter temperatures from the ensembles, because it is pretty much pointless at this stage. They are going to be very much out. I just briefly will have a look at next Monday, for example, and you can see they're widely high 20s, low 30s. Again, they're ensembles, they're going to underdo it, and there's big uncertainty with them. But you can see the general gist of those temperatures peaking on Monday and Tuesday. That's the big thing we have to take out of this. If you have a look at the ECMWF ensembles, you can see widely again very hot next week. As I said, a lot more certainty for us. Pretty much all the ensemble members above 15 degrees at 850 HPA, so that's guaranteed temperatures into the 30s. Most of them around the 20 to 25 degree point, which is temperatures in the mid to high 30s. Incredibly hot again, and you can see even more of a precipitation signal on the days following it. Increased shower and thunderstorm activity, with temperatures returning to around slightly above average in the longer term. And again, if we just compare it to those 2 meter temperatures right for Monday, you can see widely low to mid 30s. So incredibly hot conditions are coming next week. I do think we're going to be threatening our all-time temperature record. Again, I can't say exactly what the peak temperature will be, but I think it's going to be around that 37 to 39 degree mark. I do think the possibility of 40 degrees is there. But for what I'm looking at the model output at the moment, I'd put that around a 20 or 30% chance, and I think there's about a 70 or 80% chance we get to around that 37, 38 degree mark, and I think there's about a 50% chance now that we do break 38.7 degrees and get towards that 39 degree point. So it's looking incredibly hot next week. Make sure you do stay safe, keep an eye on those warnings. Of course, it is oppressively hot out there. Make sure you stay, as I said, stay hydrated, try and stay cool as much as possible. Make sure you get your sunscreen on when you are out in the peak hours of the day. Make sure you look after the elderly and the vulnerable as well. Of course, with these Met Office warnings and UK Health Security Agency warnings, they are saying that this is dangerous conditions for even the most fit and healthy. But that just shows you how in danger some of the vulnerable people are in this country are going to be. So please make sure, if you do have any vulnerable relatives, friends, neighbours, whatever, you do look after them. Make sure they are staying hydrated and are staying safe. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.